Welcome back to the Drive-In Asylum double feature, and we hope you enjoyed our first movie of the night, Night of the Sorcerers. I've already seen one complaint in the chat, so I hope that one didn't fizzle out like Damnation Alley did.
Yeah, I love it.
What complaint?
I don't know. It's already gone. I think it was Fred that didn't like it. He said, well, enough about that. What's next? Well, if you liked that movie so much, Fred, you're going to love the second one. Because it's even weirder than the one we just watched.
Yep. I'm excited to watch it again. This is a movie about...
Well, thank you very much, Fred, and the show's over for the night. Good night, everyone.
That movie was a great example of glamping. People bringing everything. If you're going to go camping, bring your own darkroom. Bring a lot of your own. Bring a lot of women. Bring your designer halter tops. And
absolutely, they were little more than just a scarf.
You know, there was no shower available that I could see, and they were just running around in the mud. Like nothing is going to get dirty.
You know, it's the way it is over there. I like this movie. The thing about this movie, it's so fascinating, is the collision of all the different genres, which makes like no sense. Like you were saying, you've got vampires, you've got werewolves. They're leopard women. It glows blue outside, and they run in slow motion. And then there's African tribes and voodoo. I mean,
Zombies.
and zombies, and it's just like you see that. Like I said, the similarity between the makeup and the women in this movie and in the vampire versus the werewolf versus the vampire woman. And you know what? There was a random zombie just guarding Countess Wandesa. You know, it's like he's waiting over there in the corner until the concubine of Satan summons him. But that's what I liked about this movie. And when I saw it back in 1980, that's what blew me away. I mean, you can't be really too critical about it. It's exactly what it is. It's a crazy collision of things, you know, and it becomes a wacky experience. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the Pittsburgh audiences saw this movie in 1980. That, you know, I'd love to hear if you could talk to people what they thought about this movie.
The next day in the mill, they were screaming over the furnace like, that movie was fucking weird, Nat. That's what they said down there on Chili Billy.
I wish I could remember the edits because, you know, like the scene where she bites her in the blood, you know, runs over her breasts and all that stuff. And all that was edited, but I mean, it just.
Are you sure though? Because a lot of those movies ended up being run uncut on the.
I don't remember seeing breasts on Channel 11.
Neither did I. There was gratuitous breasts in this movie,
and there should be. That's exactly the point.
The women were so casual; they would just walk out of the tent, you know, like breasts mostly bared. And did anyone else find it strange that they found the one part of Africa that had no black people at all? It was all white people in this part of Africa.
The other thing we talked about too is like if you're the hero of the movie and a woman tells you we're going to die, just go outside and smoke a cigarette. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think I've seen some people talking about the decapitation thing. So they chop off your head, it rolls down this thing, and then it turns around, and then somehow it reattaches as a vampire. I don't know. I like how the two leopard women are out at night and they're like whispering to one another across the. You
gain the ability to like saunter in slow motion, which is awesome. I don't have that ability.
She's like, let's go kill people.
I'm too loud and clumsy to be a vampire, to be one of these women. I'd just stumble everywhere.
You are graceful.
I'm not graceful. Becca just woke up to yell, "You're not graceful," and went back to sleep.
Yeah, it's amazing. And to me, it was just amazing. That's what I like about Amando de Ossorio's films. They're just crazy and out there. So that's what I liked about this movie. You know, and I think when I first saw the credits rolling in the music when I was a kid, and I still to this day have this feeling like the music and the credits don't fit the movie. You know, it's like, what is this, Dactari with vampire women? I mean, what the hell is that about? Amazing, just amazing. Hey, Noel, good to see you.
Noel takes it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for appreciating it. So we should do this at the Riverside Drive-In and have women run around in scantily clothed leopard outfits with fangs.
Do it in July.
Yeah,
because there's so many of those in Westmoreland County.
Maybe not in the cold months that usually the drive-in runs in.
Well, the nipples would be firm at least, right?
Yeah.
I did notice in the one scene where they chopped off the final blonde's head, they went through great lengths to make sure they didn't chop off her hair. Because she had really long blonde hair, and I was like, what's going to happen to her hair when they chop her head off? Like she's going to have suddenly, reverse mullet sort of. And that didn't happen. Her hair was mysteriously swept to the side with nothing but bare neck exposed.
Breck. She has Breck hair.
Gee, your hair smells terrific.
Gee, your hair smells like blood. And then you saw the scene in the dark room, which was kind of wacky and similar to to the Blackula scene where it doesn't pay to go into a dark room with vampires around because they'll kill you, or whatever. I mean, do we really know what they are? I mean, they were described in all sorts of different websites, vampire women, leopard women, vampire leopard women, were leopards. I mean, the whole thing, you have to think about the production team sitting around coming up with the idea for this movie and saying, there'll be vampires. No, there'll be like wild she cats, and there'll be nudity and blood, and it'll sell. And honestly,
Steve brings up the day for night shots. Yeah, I scoff too at day for night scenes most of the time, Steve. But I'm telling you, the other night there was a full moon here, and it was super bright. And I looked out the window around 1:30 in the morning, and it looked like a day for night shot in the movies. It was
absolutely.
so bright. So it can happen.
I was out that night too. It was quite bright outside. So, but those were the day for night stuff that always freaked me out as a kid when I was watching movies on Saturday afternoon, and I couldn't figure out why it was always so bright out at night, because that never happened in Pittsburgh, at least not more than what you said with the moon. But anyway, but yeah, I think it's a great movie. So I'm glad some of you out there liked it. The rest of you didn't think it was that good. That it's just part of the whole. You obviously weren't on the right drugs tonight. It's part of the whole experience of Amando de Ossorio.
Sam, were you on the right drugs for this movie?
Yeah.
I'm actually straight edge tonight, but I have enough drugs in my system from last week still from those potato chips that keep me going. So
from where?
Oh God, it's another.
I thought you said from potato chips. I'm like,
he did say from potato chips.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I got these from Canada, and it's like one potato chip per serving, and I thought I should take 4, and then I should also take some liquid THC, and yeah, it didn't turn out too well. It was a honey bear like situation.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Canadians will say that, and this has actually been said to me by a lot of Canadians. You guys should stay away from edibles in the U.S. You have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like they can, but in Canada they can consume anything. By the way, it's like they take all sorts of.
I woke up and I was like, "Oh no!"
They're hardier people up north. They are.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't know they did potato chip edibles.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, I was singing "Oh Canada." Becca said, "Yeah." I woke back up about 6 in the morning. I told her I was going to die, and I loved her. That's when it's bad. I'm like, "Hey,
I've been there. That's the worst."
Yeah.
When you start saying "I love you," that's how you know you're really super messed up.
Right.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, you know what? If I don't feel like this I was like, start at 4 a.m. and I'm like, if I can make it 2 hours, I'll live. But it's
I've been there. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're talking about this like it's okay. That's the worst experience in the world.
And then I got to 6 and I'm like, I gotta tell Becca something, because like, what if I die from this and this is it? And I didn't tell her. And then she didn't take it as the romantic gesture I intended it as.
Hey Dan,
why the fuck are you waking me up at Sunday at 6 a.m.? Why would you take this much? Why would you?
I didn't see Dan was on there. Dan's in London, Ontario. Ontario.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
I don't think there's any slow motion bionic man action, bionic woman action in The Grasp of the Lorelei.
No.
There is a scene where every girl says goodnight to the hunter. It's like, if you thought that there was gratuitous female scenes in the last one, good news. This next one, I think it's more gratuitous.
It's a girls' school.
Yeah, it's a girls' school where my baby broke all the rules, as the song says. And
is there a ghoul in school?
There's stay cruel to your school in the name of rock and roll. Like, I'm trying to get in all the 80s school smoking in the boys' room references, and
So do they establish that the school is located in Germany? Where is the school located?
That's a good question. And what did they teach?
I don't know, really. It's private. We know that, right?
Yeah.
I think it's Germany, really. Because I think doesn't it take place around the Rhine, or
I think, yeah, it would. I'm sure, like right down. If you keep walking a bit, there's a dance school that's
Ah,
haunted. Yeah,
the one right by the Black Forest.
right by the Black Forest. Yeah.
Witch.
Can you imagine? I was thinking about that while we watched
Witch.
Suspiria. If you flew the whole way from New York as an American to go to a school, and then the first thing you get in there, it's pouring. Nobody wants to pick you up. Nobody's there to pick you up. You get there, and they're like, "Go home."
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's when I get the message right away. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to dance that much.
It was like a dark version of the facts of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Mrs. Garrett was Madame LeBlanc.
Oh.
And you guys got to do this. Joan Bennett. She was five years of Dark Shadows, and this is all she did was like talk like this and wring her hands. She does that so much in Suspiria.
I really want a Suspiria sitcom now. Bill, you're about to get your wish, by the way, for the Friday the 13th series. By the way, with that.
What do you mean?
Lake, there's going to be a Crystal Lake TV show that takes place before the events of Friday the 13th.
Oh
It's
my
getting
God.
fixed
I
Yeah.
hope they show why they couldn't open the one year because the water was bad.
Well,
That's the
It was
movie I
brackish.
want.
It was brackish for a year.
who are they going to get to play? I mean, you really can't replace Betsy Palmer, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering too. They haven't announced anybody yet, but they said that for some reason the rights to TV shows are different than the movies, so they can do anything they want to do. So I get the feeling it's going to be, from what I've read, it's going to be kind of like weird Twin Peaksy kind of Crystal Lake. The town's kind of fucked up, and it's just this place. So I think you might get your wish, Bill.
That's my dream sitcom. It's a sitcom based on Friday the 13th called This Place. And
Yeah.
Mrs. Voorhees is the Charlotte Ray character.
Played by Laurie Metcalf. We could get
Yeah.
Laurie Metcalf to play.
And they have we can recreate the first episode will basically be the plot of the original Friday the 13th, except in the end nobody's dead. Like how Bill says they're like, we're going to be laughing about this tomorrow. That's what actually happens. Like there's some crazy explanation for how all of them got separated from the rest of the group, and Mrs. Voorhees is it's just this place. And then every week there'll be a comedic sort of
oh my God.
mishap at this place.
What is this? Three's Company? It's starting.
Yeah, it could work.
At Crystal Lake.
Someone else thinks it's a good idea too, apparently.
Yeah, they really do.
That's
And
good.
that's her catchphrase. Like the guy who just would show up and go, "Yes," that's her catchphrase on that show.
Oh my God, that's bad.
Mike,
Yeah.
what was my idea for a Halloween 5 sitcom? I totally forget what my Halloween 5 sitcom idea.
Everybody dies in the first 5 minutes.
I think it was just I like the Mike and I always like have these higher drunken conversations of projects we're working on, like our shared universe of women that survived romantic encounters in horror movies. It's mostly about Susie Kendall. There's a lot of Susie Kendall and Joan Collins back and forth.
Oh my God. I watched an episode on YouTube of this British TV show. It was like a sort of like a panel show where they review a new single, like 4 new singles that week. It's like Record Jury, I think it's called. And I watched it because Johnny Rotten was one of the panelists. But another one of the panelists was Joan Collins.
Oh.
And
Sure.
they reviewed stuff like Bad Girl or Hot Stuff by Donna Summer, and Bad Girls was the single. They reviewed the single Bad Girls, so it must have been like 1978. And of course, Johnny Rotten was amazing on it. He hated everything.
Mike's right. So the idea we had was that Loomis is the Mrs. Garrett, and he has a whole bunch of girls that all live in his house.
Yeah, exactly.
They always want to go out and have sex and party with boys, and he just cuts promos on them. He's like, "Let me tell you about evil." They all just giggle in the background, and it's just him screaming and them sneaking out and going out and having fun. And like Michael kind of like almost kills him, but never does.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah.
This is Garrett. Terrible.
And Mrs. Voorhees, an old friend of Charlotte Rampling's.
Yeah. I sometimes when I'm
Charlotte Ray. That was Charlotte Rae.
Charlotte Rae. I said Charlotte Rampling.
Charlotte Rampling's a beloved British actress, not a TV.
Oh,
She
I
got
would like
chased by a
Charlotte
great
Rampling
white in
in
Orca.
She did a lot of Facts of Life stuff. movies.
not a beloved sitcom, U.S. sitcom.
I
Oh,
sometimes
friend of
walk around
Charlotte
Bill and
Rae.
just say, when I'm sad, I just say, you know me. I'm an old friend of the Christies to my cats. And they say, oh, Sam.
Yeah, what was the obsession with fashion models in Amando de Ossorio films? Because that happened in the Ghost Galleon too.
That's why it's my favorite. It's the greatest. It's like, you put these fashion models out there in the middle of this environment that they're not used to, and then not only are they uncomfortable because they don't have green rooms, but there are vampires running around or zombies or whatever. The scene in the Ghost Galleon, which is Horror of the Zombies, where the first fashion model on the ship that gets stocked, I mean, they're moving like this, and she manages to get killed. It's like, I can't run, I need to die, I just don't know what to do next.
There was a lot of that in Night of the Sorceress with with those voodoo priests that
right.
rose.
Yeah, one thing you learn from his movies is that anywhere in a rural area can be possessed and filled with some sort of sudden danger, right? It's like, don't walk down that glen. Why? Well, there could be a party of zombie voodoo people there that turn you into a monster. I mean, it's just the suspension of disbelief is what it's all about, and that's why it's good. So there, that's it.
I'm excited for the next. I have seen the next one. I do love the next one. It's ridiculous. Perhaps, and yes, they both. I saw someone asked earlier. Both movies do have a hunter for hire. I think that you need fast models and hunters for hire, and you have an Amando de Ossorio film.
Yeah, this is the double feature on the Scream Factory Blu-ray as well.
Yeah,
and there she is, and there would be that's the victim. Can you see her right there?
I would say it's a toss-up. This one's grislier, I think.
Clearly, that's the Lorelei's claw up here. And
well, this one did get an X rating.
It kills her. She gets killed. That's what happens.
It's very gory, the Lorelei's grasp, and it got an X rating when it was first released in the United States. So
wasn't there was some type of ad campaign about, because the Lorelei, I mean, I don't know, we shouldn't give that part of the plot away, but let's just say you're a young couple, and I think there was some kind of wasn't there an ad campaign about don't take your girlfriend to the drive-in or your fiance or something like that?
I don't remember that.
There was some type of ad campaign, I swear to God, the one trailer or something where they were talking about how, she'll get you and, rip your heart out or something or whatever. And it was like, they were talking about honeymoon, like a honeymoon kind of thing. I don't know. I swear to God, there was.
Spoiler alert. Ad people.
Hey, watch the trailer. I mean, don't tell you everything. So, but it's another vapid, ridiculous trip down Euro horror is what it is. So get ready for that. You have to do the Loch Ness Monster, Bill. Now we talked about it. You got to do the Loch Ness Monster. Sea serpent. They should do that.
The sea serpent is what it's actually called.
Yeah.
I love the sea serpent. That I discovered that on VHS. I still have it.
Yeah, I have it too. Right.
I bought it when Blockbuster went out of business or sold off all their VHS stock.
Ray Milland.
I just bought all kinds of stuff in there, and the sea serpent was one of them. I'm like, what the hell is this movie? And boy, was I in for a surprise.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on the shelves at Giant Eagle and Farmore, both here in the city, and back in the day. And I didn't want to rent it because I thought it looked so awful, but then I did rent it, and I liked it a lot. So, and that was a good thing. But
Tyrone Power's daughter is in the sea serpent.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll be damned if I could remember her name, like Tara Power or something like
that. Taryn Power?
Taryn Power, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That was my magical pool of Tyrone Power's kids.
She was the lead in the Sea Serpent, and so was Timothy Bottoms was the male lead, if you can believe that one.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And Ray Milland, like I said, it's kind of like the production for that movie kind of feels like tentacles, right? Because it's like,
Well, they were minus about 4 or 5 stars to match tentacles,
right?
but yeah, it was a similar kind of
Yeah,
thing.
they pulled a bunch of like
Oh, that's
people.
what Taryn Powers also in Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger with John Wayne's son. That's where I remember her from.
That's
Oh
a
wow,
great.
that's
That's a
interesting.
that's a great
Oh,
movie.
no yawning when we're on the air,
Hey,
Gene.
listen, he was at John Wayne's son was actually at Monster Bash last
He
June.
was super nice. Yeah.
Yeah, did you go meet him?
Yeah.
He was really good. I got
Yeah.
George and I both got autographs. It was it was a nice combination with him and Caroline there. So
Yeah.
yeah, good stuff. A nice little lineup right there. But
Yeah. I was starry eyed with Carol Monroe, but he was very nice as well.
was that your first time meeting Caroline?
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's so nice. So,
She's so good.
Becca did all the talking for me, so it worked out pretty well.
All you have to do is introduce yourself, and if it's 2 more years in the future, she'll remember who you are. She's great.
Yeah, she's super nice.
We sat down and started talking, and everybody in line was mad because we were.
Well, the guy in front of me must have had 40 posters.
Of course.
Yeah, and it was like, oh boy, it was just like so many. She's like, he had one for I Don't Want to Be Born. She's like, I don't even remember being in this, and he's like, oh, you're definitely in it, and she is. But it was just funny. It was like, wow, how many more posters?
That was an awful movie.
It's a wonderful.
Poor Joan Collins.
Yeah.
Our second feature of the night is called The Lorelai's Grasp, and I don't have any ads for it. It was released in 1973, I think, in Spain. Anyway, it wasn't actually real, and it was probably at the end of 73. By the time it got to the States, it was November 1975, and this is one of the only ads that I could find with it playing under its American name, The Swinging Monster.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a great title for this movie because it kind of makes
Let
sense.
that sink in for a minute. Yeah, the Swinging Monster, and it's X-rated. So who knows what a movie called The Swinging Monster could be about with that kind of a rating. It doesn't say that in the ad, unfortunately, that The Swinging Monster was rated X. The Horror of the Blood Monsters, too, was the movie it was playing with. Here it is at the end of 76, playing with Dr. Jekyll and the Werewolf. Can you believe that?
I never knew that played domestically.
I think this was one of the only places that it played. This was from South Carolina in December of 1976.
I don't remember. I don't have any knowledge of that film being out here at all. I mean, George might know that, but I never knew that.
Well, I don't think it was, a major release. This was probably one of those movies that somebody bought for a tax write-off, and they just never released it. They bought it, and
sure.
They made sure they lost money on it, so it probably got shelved that way. But that's just amazing, and the fact, overlook the plural at the end of Swinging Monsters because that's a lot of ad designers did that. The main release for this movie, believe it or not, was later in the 70s. This is from El Paso, Halloween weekend 1978. That you could have gone to see John Carpenter's Halloween if you were lucky enough to be in a city where they actually released it on Halloween of 78. They didn't do that everywhere. But When the Screaming Stops was the new title, and they sort of masked what the movie is actually about in this ad campaign that makes it look like it could have been about anything. It does have a lot of graphic violence in it, and this sort of plays that up. When they released it in the States, they added a horror gimmick to it where the screen started flashing right before.
Yeah, before the murders.
Violent scenes,
right,
yeah.
Right.
So you got sort of like a William Castle kind of thing. Look at
Secrets. Wow.
Look at everything that was in theaters with this movie.
Oh. Wow. Have you seen the most popular movie musical of the year, Bill?
I have.
Yes, I figured. I
I
have.
saw it a couple times when it was in theaters, and I watched
What was that?
Grease.
Grease.
Oh,
Top Left Dad, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the whole country is waiting to see Jacqueline Bisset if you've never seen her before. The whole country.
We've all seen Jacqueline Bisset like that.
Yeah.
We saw The Deep.
Yeah, we know what's up.
So I kind of love this when the Screaming Stops ad campaign. You know I love movies that are released with titles that mean nothing. In Fort Worth, you could see it at the drive-in with Jennifer at the Mansfield Drive-In. If you can see this,
Love it.
the type is a little small in this. At the Corral, it was with Daughters of Dracula, aka Vampires, which we just watched on the show not too long ago.
Yeah.
And look at the other screen at the Mansfield Drive-In. You could see Magic with Suspiria.
Oh, God.
Wow. I love that double feature.
Mm-hmm.
I would never think of putting those two together. Now I love it.
Yeah, it somehow makes some kind of sense.
Yeah.
Here we go. Caution, due to the extremely intense nature of this motion picture, a warning signal will appear 3 seconds prior to each bizarre and graphic scene, giving you a chance to prepare yourself. There will be no refunds.
Yeah, it's so much like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I can't believe that.
I like this movie, but this ad might be an overpromise. I'm just telling everybody in the chat. This one might be an overpromise.
It is like Night of the Living Dead. Oh, that's disgraceful.
If you made it through Night of the Living Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you might not make it through this one.
It could be too much for you.
Just like
it might be too much.
Just like Night of the Living Dead.
If you've seen the swinging monster in the Lorelai's Grass, you might not be ready for
The
this.
Swinging Monster. Oh, I forgot to mention that it played on cable TV as Swinging Monster also. Like before HBO. This was in like 1975, I think. It debuted on.
I'm going to tell you
cable.
now, this movie has a lot of screaming, nowhere near as much as Alucarda, which is the grand champion of screaming in a movie.
So did we find out if this played on Schiller Theater in Pittsburgh? Did you say it did?
No,
I don't
not
think
this one.
I don't think it did either. I don't remember seeing this as a kid at all.
Bill, would you like me to make a drink?
I would be very happy if you would make us a cocktail, Sam Panico.
This is the Claws of the Lorelei, and it's made with Kraken, which is
Grr.
So it could be a ounce of Kraken.
It's got crack in it.
An ounce of that, and then it's going to have an ounce of grapefruit juice because that's good for your health. Unless you're on certain drugs, blood pressure drugs, you can't drink it. Sorry to those.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because that's what doctor's like. Well, we'd like to put you on those, but I'm like, I really like grapefruit. She's like, then you can start working out more. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
I never knew that. I
hate grapefruit soda.
I hate grapefruit juice anyway. So
I love it. Yeah. 3 ounces of sparkling pink grapefruit by Cuban. Real good. Let's swirl that up. I'm excited about this one. This seems like weird flavors to put rum into grapefruit. So, will it be good? Will it be bad? Who can say? Do you like my Playboy After Dark look here, Bill? With this the robe look.
Why don't you explain why you're wearing that?
Because my furnace is broken and I'm freezing my ass off. Why didn't it break when it was 70 degrees?
Turn the oven on.
Yeah, exactly. I said to Becca, let's put the oven on and not let the cats in it.
Bake some cookies.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So,
Yeah, just don't go to bed with the oven left on.
Pazuzu, everybody. Let's see what this tastes like.
I made myself a Midori martini.
Ooh.
So that's what I'll be at. So cheers, Pazuzu.
Pazuzu. Wow, that is interesting. Never would have thought that. I'm glad that Steve is enjoying it tonight. I'm glad that everybody else is trying out drinks or whatever you're doing tonight. Good. And excited for this next movie. Excited also for next week's movies. I'm going to say this week's movies is one of my favorite lineups ever. I'm going to say next week's lineup might be one of my favorite weeks of all time in the history of the show. Just as a tease.
Forever and ever.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I'm pretty excited.
Groovy Green Doom, Darren.
Also, everybody missed out on me dancing during the movie for Becca. There's a lot of that music was so great in the last movie. I did a lot of dancing. So pretty exciting. That's my new workout. I have Just Dance for my Xbox, and if it's raining, instead of doing my jogging, I've been dancing. So it's horrible. Nobody wants to see it. So there you go. Thanks,
Scott
Frank.
Porter wants to know what the movies are.
You'll find out next segment. We're going to have trailers from next segment. I'll give you another tease. Should I give another tease, Bill?
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Wow, let me think of a good one. They're both made within a year of each other, and they're both oddly very similar to each other. Also massive failures.
Both of them.
One on a near apocalyptic scale.
And one is a sequel to a very
Yes.
popular film that should have been successful and wasn't.
Days of Heaven. Days of Heaven.
No.
No, but it is the other one is a movie so poorly received the director tried to kill himself. And it's not Bell from Hell. He tried to jump off his hotel suite and was pulled back.
And Liza Minnelli is not in either of them. So
no, Liza Minnelli's not either.
She's
They're
not.
I'm beyond excited. Man, I can't say anything else because I'll end up saying what they are. So that's
It's not that much of a secret because I already put the trailer on.
I know. Yeah,
on
if
the
you
Groovy
really
Doom
want to
channel.
spoil it, if you can't stay awake, yeah, just go to the Groovy Doom channel. The trailer's up there, but
Yeah.
don't enjoy the waiting for Christmas, right? Like, don't go down. You know where the presents are. You don't need to go down and look at the presents. Just wait a little bit more. You know,
I've got something cool to talk about for a split second here. It's the new It Came From Hollywood, Book 3, featuring a very interesting interview with Al Adamson.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a lot of other cool stuff. I mean, that's not all that's in here, obviously. It's like it's a really extensive. There's so much text in here. It's unbelievable. It really is a book. I wouldn't even call this a magazine. There's just so much here that it's very impressive. So yeah, pick this up. It's edited by Paul McVeigh and Robert Fries. They were on the show not too long ago. If you go to Amazon, you can buy it there. Just enter It Came From Hollywood. I'm sure their other two offerings will come up as well. Book 1 and Book 2. Now you got Book 3. It Came From Hollywood. We hope to get those guys back on the show again sometime soon because they were a lot of fun.
I love having them on the show.
No, we weren't talking about Death Game, Darren. We are going to do that on the show sometime soon, but it's not going to be one of next week's movies. And it might not even be on Tubi that much longer because I reached out to Bob Morosky of Grindhouse Releasing, and I was like, hey, we're going to do Death Game on the show in a couple of weeks. And there's a version on Tubi streaming. So, I just wanted to let him know we weren't going to share files of his movie or something that they just put out. I was like, yeah, it's on Tubi. I think they're streaming the VHS rip. And he came back to me with oh, thanks for letting me know about that. They're not allowed to do that. So it might not be up for much longer. I hope we can watch it.
I would, even though it's not a good print, I would advise watching Death Game and buying the Grindhouse Releasing Blu-ray because it's great. I love that movie.
It's a stunning release. If you're interested at all in experiencing Death Game as it was intended, that is the way to go. Because
Grease 2 and Xanadu, Mike Justice.
That is a stunning double feature.
Wait, watch.
I didn't get it.
I said, "Oh my god!" We've been threatening to show ice castles at the Super Monsterama for
Oh.
like what 6 years now. That came from a conversation George and I were like having one night about programming the shows there, and he says, "What's the fucking worst thing we could ever show?" And I said, "Lynn Holly Johnson, evening of Lynn Holly Johnson's epic films featuring ice castles." Terrible.
I love Xanadu too. I don't know what people's problem is with Xanadu.
Xanadu was just, you know what? Here's exactly what it was. Okay, I'm gonna nail you guys with this. There were too many of those musical movies out at the time. The timing was bad, and I think Robert Stidgewood was responsible for Xanadu. Was he not the same person that did a lot? Did he work on Saturday Night Fever and also Grease? It was just the market was flooded with them. Xanadu was really, really the soundtrack was spectacular. I don't think the acting was that bad, to be honest with you. I think it connected on a lot of levels, but there were just too many of those musicals at the time. Do you remember the failed Sergeant Pepper's that came out around that time? Yeah, I mean,
involved with that too. Yep,
that was also Robert Stidgewood. I think that the society, but in Bill, you work in music, live for music venue. I mean, Xanadu probably sold well, I'm guessing, as a stage play, because I've heard it sells out in New York and everywhere. People love it. So
I didn't work for that. I don't work for the theater that did that.
I thought you did. Okay.
No, but I went to see it when it was here. It's only been here once, I think.
Was it good? It was good.
One of the best nights of my young life was Chili Billy played Godzilla versus Megalon, and then after 53 at 3 a.m. played the remake of Sergeant Pepper's, and I stayed awake till 5 a.m. watching it. I was probably like 10, and even at 10 I was like, this movie is so bad, and yet I love it. It's a movie that will make you hate the Beatles, though.
Stigwood also did Times Square, which I love.
Yeah, Times Square was brilliant. I mean, that was, and look at all the soundtrack stuff that came off of that. Roxy Music, Same Old Scene was one of my absolute favorites at the time. And, I had a little bit of exposure to Roxy Music back then, but that movie was one of the things that cemented my fandom of Roxy Music.
I didn't know anything about Roxy Music till I saw Times Square.
Yeah, I had the single for what was it? Love Is a Drug, and the flip side was Both Ends Burning, which was, another huge hit by those guys. And then of course, they became Duran Duran. Duran Duran's biggest influence ever was Roxy Music. Surprise.
Even more than Chic?
A lot. They credit
Chic was who they wanted to be.
Absolutely, but they credited a lot of their growing up in England listening to Roxy Music and David Bowie. And
did you see them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I guess they got a new movie out. I looked at the preview for
it.
What? Yeah, there's
Duran Duran movie.
There's one in the theater right now. It's about Capitol Records and their experience at Capitol Records. Yeah, my friend Pam just saw it at the Waterfront Thursday night. And it's ironic because I guess Andy Taylor just publicly announced he has terminal cancer. So
yes.
Yeah, which is really sad. I mean,
everyone thought he was going to play with the band, but of course he couldn't. And at least there was one person on my Facebook feed that she left after she found out Andy's diagnosis. She was so upset.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, that's another chunk of our childhood. That we're losing, or we will lose. I mean, I was extremely into Duran Duran back in the 80s. They were like my favorite band, until I consumed drugs in college and changed my life to The Cure. Swear to God. But I was sick when I heard it. I saw it trending on YouTube, not YouTube, on Facebook or something the other morning at work, and I sat there stunned. I was like, wow, this is horrible.
Eurythmics were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. I love their performance. I'm always Annie Lennox. I swear she's drinking blood because nothing changes about her. I mean, she looks older, and one of the things I love about her is she doesn't try and hide her age. She's like totally comfortable with her age, or at least she seems that way.
Right.
That she gives off, but she still has it, and she still hasn't lost it. Like her voice is still as amazing as it ever was, and that's kind of rare. Olivia Newton-John was like that too.
Yeah,
I saw her in
saying-
concert in like 2012, and her voice was still amazing after all this time, and she didn't change the key of the songs, and so that they would be easier to sing. She sounded fantastic in 2012.
Yeah, the Duran Duran documentary, Tracy's saying it's about their experiences in first coming to Los Angeles and Capitol Records. I mean, it's Los Angeles. If you grow up in the UK and you go to LA, it's a different world. New York is closer, literally, but Los Angeles just blows you away. It's a whole different space. So yeah, good stuff. I'll watch it when it's on TV.
Sam, was there anyone at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that you were interested in?
Who was inducted this year? Let me take a look. I'm
Judas Priest.
A little bit. They weren't like a huge influence on me.
He's a nightmare. Rob Halford.
There's a great video of them all singing with Dolly Parton.
I saw him singing Jolene with her, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh my God.
Dolly
it was
Parton's
him.
a big deal to me. I've seen Dolly like 3 times in concert. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so jealous.
deal.
I've never seen Dolly.
Yeah, before the show, you can write down any question you have, and she'll answer most of the questions during the show. She takes a little break and answers them, and it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to be Dolly Parton when I grow up. I don't care.
Oh, she's the greatest. And yeah, the last time I saw her. No, it was Willie Nelson actually. So Willie Nelson and the Detroit Cobras the same night, and that was a wild night. I loved it. But yeah, I'm trying to think. You know what the thing is? Like, I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a bunch of times, and it's basically just like a gift shop kind of thing.
Yeah, I was there once.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like it never really meant that much to me. I don't like, people always get upset like, why aren't bands that I love in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And it's like, I don't know, rock and roll doesn't really need to have a Hall of Fame. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need that kind of stuff.
It wouldn't be about that. If it's about that, that's not the spirit of rock.
I like
and roll.
to get Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo in there. That's pretty cool. I like Lionel Richie.
Darren's asking me why Rob Halford's a nightmare, because I got in a huge fight with him backstage at a show. That's exactly it. And we yelled at each other, and then we ended up being friends and walking away. That's it. God's honest truth. Swear to God, I am not making this up.
Who would ever have a fight with you, Gene?
Who would ever have a fight with Rob Halford? He's bitchy. And I was a production person on that show that day, and he was unbelievably vicious. He was a complete diva. This was not with Judas Priest. This was the band Voivod, what was a spinoff band that he did? And
Fight, and then he did I can't remember his industrial band.
Two.
Yeah, do I like him as a musician? Oh yeah, I grew up on Judas Priest, and Living After Midnight was one of my favorite songs back in the day. And
Rob Halford was one of those. He was iconic in the gay community even before he came out, because everybody knew. Like, everybody knew, so it was.
Right.
We latched on to things like that.
Song, I say to Becca, you know what this song's about.
For what song? What song is that?
Every Judas Priest song, like Turbo Lover, is like, oh, this song's about having sex with guys. Like, every song is, and that's awesome. Like, that's why I love Judas Priest. I think Carly Simon's cool. It's in there, and I think Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis 100% deserve to be in there because they totally changed music. And
right.
And I love them. So but yeah, it's like, will the bands I like, I guess Sabbath's in there. So, but like, most of the stuff I listen to is reprehensible, horrific black metal, and like in Venom. So, like,
are you going to go to the show that's coming up? The Armagh show is coming up at A&E. What they call? I can never pronounce the name right. I listen to this band and I can't pronounce the name. Right.
Oh, I've heard. I haven't.
I'm off the Swedish metal band with Obituary playing, and like there's two other bands. It's like
I think Carcass is with them, and I'd probably just go and see Carcass and leave.
You know what? It's so over the top. It's Leanne and I are going to see it. It's all part of this whole like identification with like Viking metal that's going on right now. And
Oh, there's
I'm all about that. So
was it Amon Amarth?
Amon Amarth, I can never say the name.
Yeah,
I've
seen them
been
a bunch of
listening to
times.
them for years, and I
Yeah, I
can't
saw them
say
with
their
Skeleton
name.
Witch, and they're awesome live. They're really
Yeah,
good.
I've been watching the videos for quite a while, and this is
They'll
it's
do
like
the big rowboat. You have to get on the floor and row a Viking
yeah,
ship.
it's going to be a big show. It's at Stage A&E in Pittsburgh on November the 30th. It's like starting at the doors at 5:30. There's like 4 bands total that are going to play with them. So
I wanted to see Merciful Fate this tour. They're coming nowhere near Pittsburgh, so that would have been an awesome show. I saw King Diamond both times he was here.
yeah, it's the music I play here, and my next door neighbor like texts me and goes, "What is that? What the fuck is that? Apocalyptic music coming from your house?" Because it's all heavy guitar. And a
I'm
guy
so jealous you've seen King
he
Diamond.
sings like this.
When did you see King Diamond?
He did the whole Abigail album at Stage AE.
He just played DC, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have
friend
one
of
of the
mine
members, Merciful Fate's hurt, so they have a female bassist this tour. She's really good. So I'm pretty excited. But yeah, he did the whole Abigail album, which is in my probably top 3 albums of all time. So it was awesome. Then they did a Merciful Fate set after that, and it was awesome. So it was one of my favorite shows of all time that I've been to. And I saw, I'm trying to think who else I saw. I haven't been to many shows in a while. There was some thing that we couldn't go to shows. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, but there haven't been that many shows where I'm like super excited about it, and
everybody's out on tour right now. It's like crazy. I mean, if you can just name an obscure 80s band and they're on tour, like Soft Cell did a tour.
I was gutted that I couldn't go see Soft Cell. Dave Ball's sick though.
What was that?
Dave Ball is sick.
Yeah, I heard.
He wasn't at the shows.
Yeah.
Of all people, I saw a bunch of the show on Frankie Nardiello's Facebook page.
Yeah.
He went to see it in LA, and
he was
Dave
there.
And I was like, oh my god, what? Because I guess Dave's like really ill. That's a bummer.
I'm not sure what's up with that either.
I was gutted though. Like I was like, oh, they're gonna do nonstop erotic cabaret the whole album, and that's the only time. Like, where else are you gonna hear them perform the album tracks from nonstop except at this concert? And I couldn't go. But Mark's still doing good, and I'm amazed that he's even still alive after that horrible motorcycle accident he was in. So we're lucky to have him.
He's so talented, and then I saw the Pet Shop Boy New Order tour, which was like heaven.
I used to love the Pet Shop Boys so much.
They're amazing live. They're amazing live. I
flatlined on the Pet Shop Boys. Like in around 1999, 2000, I just
I remember when you loved them. I mean, but you were DJing about that time, and they were really pumping out a lot of like dance mixes and stuff. And
and
they were kind of oversaturated, right? And then New Order was absolutely spectacular. I mean, they're one of the loudest bands I've ever seen.
It's not New Order without Peter Hook.
It is absolutely New Order without Peter Hook. Peter Hook he's great. He's doing his own thing, but no way, dude. That's my favorite band in the world, and I'm always there. Exactly. No, Bernard.
What else are you gonna say? You love them.
Bernard Sumner is Jesus Christ to me. If there was a Jesus Christ.
He has the holes in his hands to prove
He's
it.
fucking awesome, man. I cry at those shows. I love them. It's my favorite group, and they do a nice thing for Joy Division. They do a nice tribute to Ian Curtis.
How about Tom Bailey from the Thompson Twins did the Into the Gap album start to finish in London like last month? And
that's great.
What am I going to do? Go to London to hear that? I don't know if I can't even go to another state, let alone London.
Right. So, it's rough. That's a rough one.
I'm hoping he brings it to the States in 2023. He is going to tour here in the States.
And he'll play a small venue in Cleveland.
That's right? Okay. He was scheduled at Jurgles. Right before COVID hit, he was going to play Jurgles, and I've seen him. Like, I never saw the Thompson Twins ever, And you know that's like one of my favorite bands ever. I was obsessed with the Thompsons.
I
I
don't,
never
I
saw
don't
them
think
in the
I don't
80s,
think I did either, to be honest with you. I don't think I did.
but I
see
did
them.
see Tom Bailey in 2014. I went to
I
see him.
remember
It
very
was
well.
amazing. I couldn't believe it. Like when he stepped out on stage, I was like, "Oh my God. I've listened to this guy my entire life and I've never seen him in person until right this very second."
Right.
And then the next night in Cleveland, I met him. And I
Yeah.
had like the first celebrity meltdown of my life because
That's
I've never
you know what that feeling is absolutely spectacular.
I've never felt that way about anybody. Like I don't care who I meet. I just talk to them like they're an ordinary person. But
Right.
Tom Bailey, I almost fainted. That was so stupid.
No, I think it's okay to have those moments. So really, don't you? I mean,
I'm not embarrassed.
no, I think it's okay to have those moments. It's a human thing to do. I mean, I worked in the entertainment business for, oh my God, now 30 years, and you've worked in the entertainment business for a lot of years. You as well, you know, and
Yes.
you meet all these people, and you know, every once in a while, it's amazing to meet somebody that you really never thought you would ever see.
I've met some of the greats. Tony Bennett.
I've never met Tony.
Now,
Were you in a position working for the company, you know?
Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins
Yes.
from
I've interacted
Pittsburgh.
with Tom Atkins 2 or 3 times. Tom Savini, he came to the window one time
I
when
see.
Hal Holbrook was here. Hal
Oh.
Holbrook was doing a show where it was called Mark Twain Tonight, and it was amazing.
I
'Cause,
see.
like,
I see Tom Savini like every other week.
I know, but I mean, like Tom Savini came up and asked for his will call tickets at my window. He's like, I don't know if there's tickets here for me. My name's Tom Savini. I was like, yeah, I know who you are. Here's your tickets.
He's so funny. He is.
He's like,
He's
we made a
funny.
movie in 1982.
No, he didn't. No,
I'm
no,
like,
no, stop.
he did, and I was like, yeah, it's one of my favorite movies ever.
And Tom Atkins, I've been around Tom a lot over the years. He's really funny, and
He's super nice.
Yeah, if you shop in Carrick, you'll see him all the time. He's so funny.
I saw him turn on a dime when he came to my window. He was like having a meltdown about something about his seats, and he was kind of like being a Karen for half a second. And I was like, okay, but I was like, well, for you, Tom Atkins, I'm gonna find the best seats in the house because Halloween 3 is one of my favorite movies ever. And he just turned into like fan mode, like right then, and he was so super nice.
The funniest story I have about Tom was I was doing a show with Tom a number of years ago, and I was watching him from afar. I wasn't with Tom; I was with another celebrity, and Tom was like close to us. And he was signing something, and he moved aside, and it was a television from Halloween 3 and a replica phone. And I know, and I walked over, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, sign a TV, and you know, I talks and sign the phone, and I go, "Why are you doing it?" He goes, "I don't know, you horror fans are fucking weird. I don't know." And we both started laughing, but I'll tell you what, he is absolutely one of the most genuine people that you'll ever meet. I mean, he's humbled. He's so nice, you know. And you know the whole story about that. Like he was friends with Adrienne Barbeau, who was married to John Carpenter, and that's how he got into the whole thing. And did you see him here? I heard the story from him a dozen times, but were you at the Fog screening at the Regent Square Theater? He tells this great story, and Tom Savini will tell you the story too. I heard Tom just talked about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. They were at a party in Pittsburgh. Have you heard the story? At George Romero's house with Stephen King and John Carpenter present at this party, right?
Wow.
And Tom Savini says, and if you ever see him, ask him about this. He says, and at that moment, I thought, if we all died right now, there'd be no horror left in America. You know, it's great. It always makes me laugh because it's like, you know, he's right. It's like if you put Stephen King, George Romero, and John Carpenter on a plane, you know, and everybody, the plane crashes, that's the end of modern horror.
My favorite Tom Atkins story is that Becca's car broke down in the Liberty Tubes once. Had to get it towed from the middle of the tubes, which is a horrifying thing to have happen.
Oh my God.
I couldn't even imagine.
She called me from Starbucks in Market Square, and was crying. And Tom Atkins came over and said, "Are you okay?" And no idea, and just wanted to see if she was okay. And she said, "I have to go. Tom Atkins is giving me a hug." And I was like, "Okay."
Amazing.
Yeah, just like a genuine, like no idea kind of moment, which is pretty cool.
What are we looking at here? What's this picture?
It's a still from The Swinging Monster,
Oh, okay.
the movie we're about to watch, The Lorelei's Grasp. I'm just obsessed with the fact that this movie was released as The Swinging Monster, which I think is one of the best things ever.
I like that title a million times better. I'm only gonna call it
Swinging
Monster now. I'm gonna start being one of those edgelords that only refers to movies as their alt titles.
Swinging Monsters are highly overrated, I have to tell you.
Yeah, that should have been the name of the drink, the Swinging Monster. Sorry, guys, I failed.
Hey, you have an hour and a half to come up with that drink before the show. So
it's gonna
Swinging
have
Monsters are nice to look at, but that's about it.
It's cream de menthe and orange juice.
That's your challenge.
Yeah.
Go.
Fred, I'm looking for this photo that you say you sent me, and I don't see it anywhere. Where did you send it to me? You said show them the pic I sent you, so I'm not sure. Who's whistling? Who is whistling
Sorry,
on the show?
I got.
That's the Jeopardy theme while we wait for Fred's photo.
No, it was Gratitude by the Beastie Boys. I don't know why that song would come out.
Oh, he sent it to the Groovy Doom page.
Okay.
Okay.
I woke up with Danzig in my head today. I don't know what the fuck that was about.
Well, because did you see VHS 99 yet?
You know what? I downloaded it. I haven't. It's on my stick to watch.
It ends with "Long Way Back to Hell" by Danzig, which is one of my favorite songs. So, which came out in '99.
I woke up with Mother. You know, I got out of bed and I'm walking to pee in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I hear, "Do you want to get hell with me?" And I was like, "What the?"
My last band had a song just about Danzig. It was called Wolf's Blood, which is the tattoo on his arm that is misspelled and says Wolf's Blood. And it was a song just about Danzig's books from his Danzig home video. The Danzig home video is him talking about horror movies and werewolves. And the whole song's about Danzig's experiences with werewolves. By the way, Nora, I have spoken to Mode Mixologist this week. We talked for about an hour the other day. He is
how is he?
He's doing really well. He has a daughter, and it takes up a lot of, she's about 2 now, I think. She takes up a ton of his time, and he said that basically he's exhausted by her. She has so much energy, but he's doing awesome.
I think I met him. I think he was at the drive-in.
He was. He and his wife came before. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he's doing great. I'll tell everybody. He said he checks in on the show though, but he said generally, majority of what he does is he has a bunch of these old Alamo Drafthouse movie mixes that he and his wife watch, and a lot of the time is like them just trying to catch up with their daughter because she's a handful. But yeah, he's doing awesome. So he's doing real well. I'll tell him that everybody said hi. And he checked in a couple times this week. We've been talking, so it's good.
I just realized it's time to go to the movie, and I didn't drop the link into chat. So I apologize.
But we might record that song, by the way. We talked about maybe recording a couple songs. Maybe.
Is Kant back together?
No, but we were all hanging out together, and we said we should really record that song. So, because Zach from Kant is in Pyreath, who is on Metal Blade now, who is a really good band, like an actual real metal band that puts out real albums and stuff. So,
weren't you a real metal band?
Yeah, but I mean, he signed to Metal Blade. I mean, how crazy is that, right?
So,
I'm launching a musical career.
Awesome.
What are you doing?
I don't know. But you wait and shit your pants when you hear it.
Right.
I got to tell you, you guys were talking about meeting people, and that's the scariest thing when you're in bands and you open for people. Is when we opened for I Hate God, they had down. You have the name of your band that you're touring with on your cases, And all the bands that everybody in I Hate God has been in is like super influential. And I'm like, I can't play in front of these guys. So I just got super stoned and did it. It was great. That's the best part about being in a band versus being a wrestler. Is you can get super fucked up and you actually do better being fucked up versus, being in charge of someone's life.
It's not like that when you're wrestling, though, right?
No,
You
100%
can't be
not.
fucked
Because I've
up
been
in
in
wrestling.
with guys that are high and it sucks really bad. No fun whatsoever. So, yeah. So when do we get subtitles? Someone asked. I don't know. And Bill, is there a PayPal for tips? I do believe there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
I want to see Fred's. I want to see Fred's picture, Bill. Where's it at?
I'm looking for it.
Fred,
I can't find it.
I'm supporting you. I want to see your photo.
He said he sent it to the Groovy Doom Facebook page, and I didn't see it anywhere. So, Fred, I'm sorry. I looked a couple of times. There's the PayPal tip jar. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the address. Send it to groovydoom@gmail.com. Just a couple of bucks. We're not looking for a whole bunch of money. Like if everybody sent like $2.
If somebody gives you $100, I'll show my boob tonight.
Speaking of Gene, how excited?
Nobody wants to see your boob.
Speaking of Danzig, how excited are you for Death Rider? I'm super excited. I can't wait.
Maybe that's what brought on my Glenn Danzig,
oh my God,
fantasy.
I love it so much.
I have no idea.
Because Cleopatra put it out, and I keep sending him emails. I'm like, can I please do an interview? It's like my dream interview because I know he's going to be a complete asshole, and I can't wait.
The Gothic Elvis. He's a Gothic Elvis.
My whole interview will just be questions about Sam Hain and nothing about anything else. It'll be like,
you'll be like,
how did you get the bass sound to sound so shitty? Why are the drums pushed so far back?
Because his knobs go to 8.
He's the best, dude. That's all I listen to when I jog is Sam Hain. That's why my jogging is so weird because the beats are so off. It's wonderful. I'm super into it.
Okay, I did get Fred's picture.
Awesome. No, the lead up now has been
I know.
Intense. He sent it twice. So let's see it.
Okay, wait. Okay. You're gonna die when you see this.
All right.
Sam, do you know who it is?
No, I don't. I know Fred.
She's in a Lamberto Bava movie.
No, I don't.
It's Lisa Rubin, who was Molly in Devilfish.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
I recognize her. I had to back up to see it. Very cool and obscure. Holy shit. So are you looks like you're at a disco in Europe. Is that where you were at the time?
I might have been looking at the girl over her shoulder. Sorry, I've been drinking a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, that.
Neckline, so my eyes
believe it or not, I missed that.
Yeah. Well,
it's almost like I'm not looking for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know, and it's kind of
amazing.
Yeah.
If there was a plumber bent over and you could see his ass crack, I would have spotted.
I was trying to get a picture of that guy that was cooking my hot dogs today because I was like, "Fuck, I wish Bill was here," because he was talking to me about the toy show, and I was like, "Bill should really be here to talk to this guy, not me." He was all sweaty, making hot dogs on the grill, just flipping his head.
No.
What? Wait. Okay. Wait. Hold on. What?
Will and I look out for each other.
What is this weird? What is this weird barbecue fetish?
No, it's just a hardworking man. Bill's a hardworking guy in a uniform.
Oh,
I know
what? Yeah, I love a man in a uniform.
Yeah,
I know what Sam likes, and Sam knows what I like.
Yeah, Bill's like, hey, this girl looks like
what we
she's
should do.
This girl is porcelain white and near death on the bus. I'm going to send you a picture of her. That's what I'm usually looking for.
Whatever. Tune in later for Bill's OnlyFans working man making hot dog site.
Okay, you got the link in chat. We'll be back after this. Talk. Imagine what it'll be by then, the third segment, okay?
Imagine.
Just imagine it.